Dude, I am, I don't even know what to title this video. Don't think about it, man. Dude, I have to be the biggest idiot in the world. What is going on, guys? My name is Lextasy. Welcome back to another episode of us talking and finding out exactly how much a twin turbo R8 broken transmission is going to cost us. Well, today we're at my buddy's shop at Colab Garage in Alpharetta, Georgia. We have the transmission here. We're going to be dropping it off with them. We're just waiting for a forklift to show up. It's going to get really expensive real quick, but you know what? We're here, so we're going to take a tour of the shop as well because they have some super sick cars in there that I'll probably never be able to afford. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Joseph. He is the boss at Colab Garage. He's the boss, he's the employee, he does it all, man. This guy, there's nothing he can't do, but let's get the strap on here real quick. Oh, poor transmission. Poor car, man. I've owned it for about 3 months now, and honestly, I've only driven it about 150 miles, if that. So I really have not had a chance to enjoy it. I feel like I just picked up some other person's problems, and unfortunately, I wasn't told of the problem. So this is where it gets fun and really expensive real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, she is safe and sound at Colab Garage, man. Golly, look at all this. This is insane. So much going on at this place. Transmission rebuilds everywhere. They got their shop there that they do a lot of customized builds and everything, where they fabricate stuff. So I mean, dude, they do it all. GTRs, there's some McLarens hiding over there, there's some Aventadors, R8s. This is the place, man. We definitely found the guru when it comes to dual clutch transmissions, that's for sure, and everything in between. How long you been open, man? Because I know you did stuff before this and everything.
Colab Garage has been around for about 18 months now.
Nice.
But
okay.
I've been in the industry for over 20 years.
Jesus,
just
man.
working for other people and help build shops up, and I'm like, you know what, now it's time to do it on our own.
Oh, 100%. And all the techs are on lunch break, so we can actually walk around and be able to explore this place and see a lot that's going on. But as you can tell, see another one going through the same stuff I'm going through. I'm guessing a transmission
similar issue.
Oh, fantastic.
So you're not the only one. There's comfort in numbers here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So. And was he a twin turbo too, or what? What happened here?
He's going to be twin turbo.
Oh, so he's
so we're doing a fuselage setup.
Ooh, look at those intakes. Oh, he's doing the whole thing.
He's going all out, about 1,400 horsepower. That's a safe number on stock motor. You can go a little more than that, but
it can hold that much. Yeah. Really, not an open motor.
It's all about the tune.
That is very true. 100%. Wow. So I mean, torque on these, so 1,400 horsepower. But how much torque do you think?
You're gonna be in the 850 to 900 foot-pound of torque.
Okay.
So if you can keep it down that low, or even a little bit lower, the lower the better.
Yeah, 100%. Dude, this is so sick, man. We're gonna walk around a little bit, take a look. You guys have seen this car before. It should, if you've seen the channel, you see my GTRs, this should remind you of a 0 to 60 in less than 0.9 of a second, man. That is an insane monster. Hopefully we'll get to see it one day. I think you say bring out to FL2K, right?
FL2K is when we're trying to bring it back out.
God, man, maybe this year, guys, we'll actually be able to make to that one. That would be awesome. But guys, they don't stop there, man. They got McLarens here, which you know, they need preventative maintenance, they need performance upgrades, they need everything. This is a sick color. 600 LT, I think is what they said. Beautiful, but then you got the SVJ in the back. Jesus, dude, Lord have mercy, that is beautiful. I have never seen one in person, guys. Is this a paint or wrap?
That's wrap. It's actually a black car. But
oh my God, this is pure art, guys. I mean, literally, look at that. God. Maybe one day we can afford some wheels off of one of these, but that's about it. I don't think my wife would ever let me spend this much money on one, but that is beautiful. There's so much going on in here, but you know why we're here. We don't want to take up too much of your time, but it's about the transmission, man. Something went wrong. We have no idea. But you're thinking what? Just, okay, so we have an all-wheel drive mount function, park, it won't go into park, ABS, and then our speed control unavailable or something like that.
So there's a couple of things that could have happened. The clutch carrier, a lot of people call it the stator, could have shifted in there, and that could have made it so you lost all clutch pressure, and then nothing's going to operate properly. I've seen the parking brake have an issue where it'll kind of lock itself into position.
Oh wow,
if you did have a type of gear failure or anything, a part come out, the speed sensors inside the transmission are very fragile. They don't take any amount of damage. Okay. And as soon as that comes out of spec, then the transmission will give you an error like that as well.
Speed sensor, so you don't think, like somebody said the third gear sits in front of the speed sensor, so you don't think the third gear hit it or something?
It could have. Like there's things like that. I mean, that's worst case scenario, right?
Yeah, you just don't know. Is there any way you could show us like an inside of a transmission or anything like that?
The one we've got in process here.
Yeah, this is sick, guys. So just like the GTRs, guys, I think I've seen one. Yeah, so see, it's called the transaxle because you have a transmission and the differential together. Same with the R8, so it just makes it a little bit easier to work on, I guess, or it's one unit when it comes out. But there's a lot going on here. Oh yeah, that's exactly what we got. Fantastic.
Yeah. So this one's almost going back together.
Wow.
It's a full, what we call our nitty gritty package. So it's everything that you would need to be able to launch your car with turbocharged. second gear upgrade. Yeah.
Wow.
So we're upgrading the ring and pinion. This is all the stock parts that came out of it: ring and pinion, clutch, and the stub shafts right here.
Oh, you're doing everything. So that's like
so that's all the things from when you launch the car that could break. That's what we're addressing in this. And then we're also getting a trans billet cover and a brace that braces it to the casing. Okay. They actually learned over the last few years that the case is flexing, and even though if you put a billet ring and pinion in it, it'll still break. Wow. So that's a lot higher horsepower cars, but why not just get that little? Oh, 100%. I mean, it's just a few $1,000 on a car like this. Yeah. It doesn't. But you're talking what stage turbo kit would be able to, or how much horsepower can this hold? Like the way you're doing it right now. This is what I would say. This is good for any stock engine build. Okay. And if you're not going for all-out max performance, or you're not going to drag race the thing like multiple events a year, this would get you all day long. And so you're doing plates, clutch plates, obviously, and then you're doing the second gear, you said? And second gear is buried on this side of the case, so you really can't see it. And I don't know if I'll be able to show you what a speed sensor looks like. Right here. This little ring here. That's the speed sensor? That's the speed sensor, but it's made out of this funky material. What? Okay, so literally the back part of that gear, I guess you could say, almost. Wow. Yeah. I thought it'd be like a legitimate sensor that like sits on the side. There's a little Hall effect sensor that sits here that picks it up. There's little pieces of metal in there. Yeah. When it spins, it tells you how fast it's going. But if metal debris collected on this because it's magnetic, then the sensor will read improperly and it'll give you errors like that. Okay, okay. So maybe we're not in I know. I'm hoping that it was this piece like we mentioned at the beginning. The stator? The stator. Okay. But if it's not, it might be a little bit more involved. We'll find out here in the next few days. Oh, fantastic. So we're looking between, let's say we had to do, what would you recommend? What's the first clutch pack or whatever would you do? Well, we don't recommend anything other than a Pro Max 9-plate for any build. 9-plate, okay. And that starts around, how much is it for one of those? Those are about 14,000. Okay, 14,000, and it can get as damaged as much as new transmission. New transmission, you're looking at 65 grand all in for everything. Okay. I did not think it would start with the 6, man. You can buy yourself a brand new Supra or a transmission. Sick, yeah. Oh yeah, my buddies make fun of me. It's like, oh look, dude, you can get a C706 right now for 50 grand, man. Okay, so the reason why we only do the Pro Max, and you can see here, this is what a Pro Max looks like. It's all one piece, all billet. Night and day difference between that clutch pack and the bracket and that. Wow. And this is one of the things, even on stock cars that are turbocharged, this piece will break, and you can see it on the factory piece. They're just 6 little bolts holding that thing together, man. Oh, fantastic. Okay. So usually when you see somebody put a stage 1 kit on there, how long does the clutch or transmission last before it usually needs to be done? Or that's what's recommended, right? Yeah. When you put anything over a factory spec. I would say the clutch is minimum. Wow. There's guys that have run stock clutches up to 1,100 horsepower. What? But I think that's the exception, not the rule. Yeah. And like I said before, it's all about the tune. If your tuner's aggressive in the shifting and how they're applying the power, then all these parts are subject to breaking. Ladies and gentlemen, after 2 long months and 4 months since the car broke down, we are finally putting the transmission back. We just got it back from Colab Garage, and I am super excited to get this dirty, really long and awaited dusty R8 back on the road. There's so much that they found out about it, and it was quite a bit of an expensive repair bill, to be honest with you, but it was so worth it. So basically, while Brandon is getting the transmission all together, let me actually show you exactly what they did to this transmission, because this right here cost close to $40,000. So we got the Datsun Pro Max 9-plate clutch. We got the upgraded Datsun half shafts. We got a billet oil pan under here as well. So we went all out on this transmission. Second gear is completely upgraded and built. I think it's a billet second gear. So there's a lot of money that got involved in this repair. And quite honestly, I was thinking about it. The truck that I picked this transmission up on was a 2020 Ram 1500, and it cost less than how much that transmission was on the back of the truck. And quite honestly, that was a scary ride back home for 3 hours. But here we are, we're about to install this transmission. He's jacking it up right now. While he's doing that, I do want to show you exactly what went wrong. So at first, we had no idea what caused the issue. They took it about halfway apart. They figured out the transmission was stuck in second gear, therefore it could not shift into fourth after it engaged third, because as you guys know, this
is a dual clutch transmission. So basically the car has 2 gears activated or selected at all times. So as I told you guys, it shifted from second to third when I was doing the pull. Well, the second gear should have released and activated the fourth, because obviously that's the progression rate, where if I'm hitting full boost, I'm obviously going to be going faster than that. But second gear got stuck, therefore fourth gear couldn't activate, and the car went to limp mode. It shut itself off. So it could have been a lot worse, but it did save itself from other issues happening. So what exactly went wrong? So good thing that Colab Garage recommended taking the full transmission apart, because when they took the first half off, there was no issues. There was no metal pieces. Oil looked fine. So they were really confused as to what the issue is. But they're like, look, man, I feel bad putting this transmission back together with upgraded clutches without knowing what's wrong with the car itself. So they went further and they completely tore it piece by piece apart, and this is what they found. So this right here, guys, is the second gear selector. So the shift fork sits on it and it kind of shifts it into it, and the synchro sitting here, which is, this is actually the synchro for the first gear. So as you can tell, it kind of made it together like that. So the second gear selector, first off, it shouldn't be this bright of a color. It's almost polished color, which threw them off already, because everything else, as you can tell, is kind of a different color than this. So this was really weird. Made them think maybe somebody was in the transmission at some point. Who knows? But the biggest thing is if you guys can see, do you see the marks on the teeth themselves? You see how wore out it is and rubbed, especially on these metal pieces right there? You can really get an idea as to how bad this 55,000 mile transmission was conditioned. So this sits on the second gear. So when activated second gear, it might have just got stuck and it wouldn't release again, just because of the condition of the teeth on this selector. So this was 100% an issue. This was also an issue, and Datsun said that, hey, I would not put this back in the transmission. So this is a first gear synchro. Do you see the black spots right there? You see the dark spots on top right there? That is overheating. This first gear took a beating from the get-go. You can see, come on, focus camera. Do you see how all those dark spots right there on that bearing, or whatever you want to call it? This thing got overheated from a lot of digs, a lot of pulls, and unfortunately, it was up to me to figure that out, because again, I'm not gonna call out or shout out the previous owner, but he knew the issues were there. He knew what the problems were. It probably happened to him like it happened to me the first time after 3 weeks of ownership with the car. Threw itself into neutral when I was doing the pull, but it kind of, when I reset the car, went right back to normal, drove it for another few weeks, and then this happened. So obviously this must have happened to him before. He knew what that was going to lead to, so he decided to dump it on somebody, and I traded my awesome 1100 horsepower F-150 for it, and here I am today getting this bad boy back on the road after it's going to cost me close to $40,000 to get this thing back on the road. So from this point on, technically it should be able to do digs, because we did the half shafts, we did the second gear. But at the end of the day, guys, I'm not going to push it. This isn't a drag car. We have a 1,000 horsepower Durango Hellcat that we do drag racing with. This right here is a roll race car. So as long as I can do second gear pulls, which is 60 and up, that's all I wanted, guys. And I can do that comfortably, safely. Engines are bulletproof on these cars for about 1,500 horsepower. So we almost got the transmission, guys. Just got to line up all the spots correctly, make sure that it wedges in there right. But a lot of you are going to say, like, no, hold up, Alex. Why was this bill almost 40 grand? It was like $36,000. Let me explain, because quite honestly, Lambo tax is a real deal. So is Datsun tax. But you know what? It's kind of worth it. That's what you got to pay to play, especially when you start modifying high-end vehicles. So some of the parts I'm just going to list off and kind of what the price is, so you get an idea why it was so expensive. Was, well, first off, the Datsun billet transmission sump, as they call it, or cooler, or whatever you want to call it, pan, was $1,700. But I gotta say, that is one of the cleanest transmission sumps I've ever seen, though. That billet is pretty. It's going to look good underneath the car. Hopefully I never have to see it again, but that's where we're at. And then you got the Datsun second gear billet gear, of course. So it's that one was $11,000 for one gear in the transmission. Let me put it to you guys this way. You can buy a used R8 transmission, stock OEM, with about 50,000 miles for like 20 grand. I just paid $11,000 for one gear in this transmission. Let's go down the list. Then you got, oh, I don't know, let's see, a $14,000 Datsun Pro Max 9-clutch kit, and gears that actually failed in transmission, which quite honestly, that's all you would have to replace if you're just trying to, you know, roll your dices again for a second time in a row, but then you're paying for installing and dropping the transmission and everything else. But the actual parts that failed, so we're talking about this shift or gear selector, and then of course the synchro for first gear right there. These parts total were like $1,200 plus import fee, so about $2,000. So quite honestly, you could get away with a pretty cheap transmission rebuild, but then you got the labor, you got the fluids, you got the little seals and everything else, and you add it up together and you're almost $36,000. Quite honestly, you are at $40,000. What am I saying? Yeah, no, the bill was yeah, right at $40,000. Ladies and gentlemen, the transmission is in the car. As you can tell, everything is bolted up already. This thing is looking pretty with that billet sump for the transmission. Now it's all about just literally putting everything back together, all getting the wires all attached. We got the axles already bolted in on both sides, so we're good there. It's literally just connecting all the stuff together. And then the biggest part of this process and why I wanted Brendan to do it is because, well, obviously he is the Audi master tech and we're at Audi, so it works out good because whenever the car finally starts, hopefully we can clear all the codes. We do have to let the transmission relearn itself because we literally had it completely taken apart, so all the clutches and everything have to know how to operate and when to shift. So that takes about an hour or so for it to do. So while that's happening, we'll be able to do the AC compressor, which obviously the previous owner also didn't tell me about. So there's a lot that I'm learning about the car as we go along, but that's going to take another 4 or 5 hours to do. Now, I forgot to mention, this car is getting wrapped because, like I promised on my channel and on every video that I post in the section, comment section, I always say, hey, when we reach 10,000 subscribers, I'm wrapping the car. We're about to hit 9,000, which is close enough for me, so I am going to get this thing wrapped in a super crazy sexy color. All right, so while we're making progress here in the back with the transmission, which Brandon is working on, just connecting all the hoses and fittings, I do want to show you the bilge pump that unfortunately was broken when I bought the car, and the guy never said anything about it. As you can tell, this thing was completely not working. I mean, look at this, covered in, I don't even know what to call it. It's like slime, man. This thing's been sitting in that nasty mucky water for so long. Look at that, it's so dirty in there and never even worked. So for him to say he never knew it didn't work and he owned it for a few months is a complete and utter lie, which is unfortunate. So that's another $150 for a new pump. It looks like they just use like a bilge pump out of a boat or something, so it's not much, but we should be a direct fit. Slap it back in here, all the pipes, everything works. We just had to replace the connector or reuse the connector and put that new pump in there. But it's the small stuff like this that shows you can't trust sellers these days, unfortunately. I mean, even on a $50,000 car, I'm from now on gonna fly out and take a look at it before I buy it. $160,000, 100%. I'm not trusting anybody's word. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a long 10, 11 hours, I'm gonna say. It's already pitch black outside since we started. Now this includes the 10, 11 hours, includes eating breakfast, eating dinner, because we've been here all day. Freaking Brandon is the trooper, man. This dude is the GOAT of all time, man. He knows literally everything about this car now. The more we got into it, the more we figure out there's issues that we found now. It makes us really question as to how much the previous owner actually did or didn't do to this car. So one thing we noticed, or Brandon noticed, is on this drive shaft here, there's supposed to be, what was it, like a pin or a loop, or what was it? A clamp. That clamp is missing. The only reason that clamp should be missing is this the drive shaft that goes from the the engine, I'm sorry, or pretty much what, the transfer case to the front diff, which means probably the motor was out of here at some point. Secondly, when we were doing the air compressor, we noticed that the water pump, there's a bracket that kind of holds it together, was also missing a bolt on the bracket. There was only one bolt in there instead of two. So somebody at some point mess with the underside of that car. So maybe there was an AC compressor already done on this thing before. Who knows? But I wish the previous owner at some point could just tell me the honest truth of what was done or not done with this car, what the issues were. It just sucks to be the one finding this stuff out later down on the ownership process. And now it's like, you know, we fixed a $40,000 issue. Who knows what's next, or who knows what else might be going wrong that he knew about, you know? So that's the unfortunate part. But we're about to literally put fluids in here. We're doing the transmission fluid. We've got to do the coolant. We'll add the engine oil in, and then it is literally ready to fire up, guys. I am super stoked, super tired, but it's been 4 long months waiting to get this thing back on the road, and it is finally time. It is exactly 4 months today since the breakdown happened. All right, guys, this is the moment of truth, man. After 10, 11 hours, we got the fluids in, everything is good. Transmission is full. Brandon, is it time? One thing I do want to mention while he's doing that is that we have not cleared any codes. We haven't even touched the car. The battery was off while we're doing the compressor and everything like that. So we don't know if the codes are just going to completely disappear once the car checks itself out. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, but Brandon is very assured that it's just going to clear all those codes off for the all-wheel drive malfunction, parking brake malfunction, all that stuff. It should go into park. I honestly, 10, 11 hours to do the AC compressor and to knock out putting the transmission in there and literally getting all that done. all we got left is put a bumper in the rear spoiler, so not much left here, but that's pretty impressive on time. And quite honestly, when you have a guy that knows what he's doing, it makes it so much simpler. The filter is in. Oh, let's see what this car thinks of itself and what gear it's in. Oh God. Oh, I hear screaming. Oh my God, this is really hard when it's on the lift. Ow. Oh, something fell. Okay, let's see what it says. I'm not gonna start it yet, I'm just gonna get the ignition going. Please press brake. Speed control system currently unavailable, so all the things we know about. Does it go in the park? Nope. Loss of pressure. Please check all tires, pressure, and MMI. Yep, I get it. That's off. It says shift to P, but when I press P, let's see, let's turn it back on real quick. Alright, all the lights are on. Let's see. No, it's not in park yet. See, still got all the Christmas tree going here. Loss of pressure. Oh, that's because we probably took the tires off, so I have no idea what's going on. Parking brake malfunction. Turn off engine, check coolant level. Yeah, I know. I have a feeling we gotta clear all these codes. Quick little update. So we're trying to figure out, the computer says unable to communicate to module 2 on the transmission, which is there's 2 modules on the transmission. The second module, we checked the plugs, everything seems good. Computer just can't connect to it. So Brandon was like, let's check the fuses, man. Something's gotta be going on with it. That fuse is completely, I don't know if it can focus or not, completely blown, guys. So that fuse is bad, but why would it blow a fuse, Brandon? Would it have blown the fuse when I was doing the pull? Could have this all just happened over a fuse?
I mean, it was still having transmission issues.
Right, but oh my God, bro, what if?
Some of the transmission issues could have.
Oh my God. What if the freaking, you need all the stuff back, I'm guessing? Or we'll see what happens, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna leave the bolts, but what if that was the issue from the beginning? I mean, yes, there was problems with the transmission, so everything happens for a reason. But what if it fixes itself? I wonder if it will or not. You want to reset the codes, or you just want to see if I open the door what it does? Oh, well, it's not going to hurt anything. Oh, push the what in? Oh, turn the ignition on. Here we go. Let's see, guys, what comes back? Well, hold on, all that stuff just went away. The transmission and stuff. Let me see if I can put it in park. Loss of tire pressure, that's understandable. It's showing it's in park?
Right there in the closet.
Oh my God, it is, man, under the 0. Okay, you think it's time, Brandon? Oh, dude, what if? Oh my God, bro. 4 months waiting on this. Dude, I'm gonna frame this thing. This fuse is gonna be framed. 100% it blew out a fuse. And it threw the car into that. Oh my God, dude, if I just spent 4 months fixing the transmission and it was over a fuse. I mean, obviously there was overheatment and stuff, but dude, if I tell my wife that's, honey, I spent 40 grand over a freaking fuse. You know, this would have been solved if I plugged in the computer when it happened. I had 5 people tell me like, hey, have you read the codes? What's going on? I was like, look, I'll show you what's on the screen. That's all I know, 100% transmission issue. Oh my God. Dude, I don't even know what to title this video. Dude, think about it, man. Dude, I have to be the biggest idiot in the world. I mean, it's a good thing we did it. It would have had issues at some point.
Right. I mean, it was having weird issues.
But why blow a fuse? I don't understand what, usually what, over voltage?
If one of the solenoids in the mechatronic unit was trying too hard to shift it because that shift collar was seized up, it would draw too much amperage and pop the fuse.
And honestly, the whole point of a fuse is to save the whatever system is getting tripped out. Oh my God, man. You're about to tell me to start it, aren't you?
If you want to.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna face this. Oh, yeah, boys, you ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh my God! Dude! Over a freaking fuse! Oh. She sounds so good! There's no codes, there's nothing on the screen. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. Bro. Oh. Oh man. Freaking God. Bro. I can't believe it, man. Yo, there's no way. Oh, she sounds so freaking good, guys. Dude, there's no way it was a fuse. There's no freaking way it was a fuse. What's going on, guys? Well, it's been 3 days now and we're still at the dealership. The car does not run and we have no godly idea what's going on with it. So yeah, this has been a chain of events that I wouldn't wish on anybody. But we have literally made it nowhere. We're stuck here. We did the work on Saturday. Took all day Saturday night. Car started. We figured out it was the $40,000 fuse. Sunday morning we decided we're just going to finish putting everything together. And let me show you how far we made it. All right, so just to kind of reiterate or show you where we're at. This is where that dirty Audi R8 is sitting right now. You see the garage door right there? So Saturday morning I get here, the car's been idling for about 2 to 3 hours. Brendan's been trying to knock everything out. He put the bumper on. We do the transmission calibration and relearn. Obviously because the transmission has been completely taken apart. Everything goes smooth, not a single issue, no codes. The car runs great. We've been even revving a little bit just to get it warmed up to temp so we can do the transmission relearn. So yeah, we'll get it off the lift. We'll get in the car. We start rolling towards that door right there. We get about 5 feet from the door and the car just shuts off. It just coasts to a complete stop and we're like, dude, that's kind of weird, man. I was like, Brandon, I don't think the car's on anymore. And it wasn't. It just died. It died. And we spent probably 10-15 minutes trying to start it back up, and since that day, it's been 3 days now. We have no idea what's going on with the car, but now I am 1000% sure that the transmission wasn't an issue. I am 1000% sure that the AC compressor wasn't an issue as well, because Brandon found a bad ground cable for the compressor. That's why it was never kicking on. There's something going on in the harness in there. I don't know what's been done to it. We have no idea. We don't know who's been touching it, but literally right now we're thinking maybe it's the crankshaft position sensor, because it will not, the RPMs aren't jumping whenever you're trying to fire it up. But then that's insult to injury. That has nothing to do with the transmission, because the transmission, as you guys know, blew a fuse. It doesn't blow a fuse for no reason. Maybe it was some sort of a resistance in the transmission that caused the fuse to blow. Maybe it's a completely separate issue. Yeah, I spent 40 grand on the transmission, which I was going to do at some point anyways, but it did not have to happen now. The car would have started right back up if I just changed that fuse, but how was I supposed to know? I'm like lost for words, guys. It's always me. I don't know why. It's not like I'm like cheaping out and getting these cheap cars. The guy made this car sound like it was in perfect spec. Like there was not a single issue with it. Now I've been just staring at this thing for the last 4 months. So let me show you what's going on with it. And let's hop in here real quick. I'm gonna laugh / cry if this thing just decides to start all of a sudden. But let me see if the battery's even still good. I know we're trying to charge it back up. So let's turn the ignition on. Everything comes on. No codes whatsoever. That's the craziest thing. So check engine is on ignition, but then watch. Let's try cranking. Nothing. Freaking nothing. Not a single thing. And I have no idea what to say, what to do. We're just, yeah, we're stuck, guys. So in the next video, we're gonna get it back in the shop. Brandon's probably gonna do it tomorrow. We're gonna start with the crankshaft position sensor. Hopefully that solves the engine part of not starting. But now that I think about it, remember in the last 3 videos I talked about that, like, hey, the first time something went wrong with this car is when I was doing a pull and the car just lost it. Like it just came out of gear, shut off, and I had to coast it off the road, restart it right back up. Not an issue at all. Second time is when the fuse blew. Now the third time this again. I don't know, but it's something electrical. We got fuel. We obviously have air. The last thing is spark, and spark won't happen if you got some sort of electrical issue as well. So we don't know what to start, but I will update you guys in the next video. This hasn't been fun, man. Drop a like for this, guys. I've been through the ringer with this car. I want to enjoy it. The season's almost over. The last 2 car shows are coming up. This hasn't been fun. fun. I am $40,000 deep into this car over a freaking 15 amp fuse that I'm gonna hang right here on this, and it will always be hanging here because it's something to remind me of, like maybe just dig a little bit deeper and try to figure out what's going on with it. But again, what do I know? I don't deal with $160,000 cars, so this is something new for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We were so close, man. We heard the car run, like it was running. It was freaking running. Everything was perfect, and then she decided she wasn't done acting up. So I will see you guys in the next video. Enjoy your cars, enjoy your lives, and yeah, I'll see you next time.